Hi guys, is Donald Trump insane or just a bully? Or perhaps both? So following the US President's imposition of tariffs on goods imported from Canada, the Canadian Prime Minister followed up on his promise to respond in kind. Canada, however, it seems is interested in imposing pain on goods imported from red states. These are ones that Donald Trump won at the recent election. The US administration has said that this trade war is because of the Canadian government's foot dragging when it comes to controls at the border, be it drugs or migrants. However, journalist David Corcoran from Canadian media has a different opinion.
A while. With what happened with Colombia, there is a greater level of anxiety at that table right now. The Prime Minister has said that their intention is to hit back once they know exactly what it is in writing Donald Trump is intending to do, and may do a more robust response. But he's also said that the Canadian government doesn't think this is really about fentanyl. I mean, how do you even know if the fentanyl death is because of fentanyl coming in from the United States? As Katie points out, a lot of the fentanyl made here is consumed here. This is why there are so many deaths here connected to this. And the Prime Minister, I'm told now by multiple people who are listening in on that call, have made the point that they do think this is maybe all about that 51st state sovereignty commentary from the U.S. president. And his comments, weeks ago when, he ruled out using military force to acquire Canada, for lack of a better word, but talked about using economic force. Well, this is economic force. I mean, he can say it's about fentanyl, but the volumes just do not justify the tariffs at this level. I again go back to this, paper that we've talked about many times, Rosie, in our long conversations about Donald Trump in the past month, that Robert Lighthizer wrote that they see tariffs as a weapon to reshape global trade and force manufacturing jobs inside the continental borders of the United States of America.
And that's probably it. It's about bringing manufacturing back to the United States. But of course, there's a problem with that. It will drive up prices. Ordinary people will suffer the consequences of that. So one thing is the tariffs. And once again, for people who don't understand, we should all understand tariffs at this stage. The American business and eventually the American consumer will pay the tariffs that Donald Trump imposes on other countries. The other countries are not paying the tariffs. The United States is paying the tariffs. So what this is, the goal, it seems, is either to punish Mexico and Canada. On the surface, it's about drugs or about immigration, but in reality, as pointed out here, it's more about bringing manufacturing back to the United States. But the problem with that is, well, there's a reason why there hasn't been a huge amount of manufacturing in the United States, because it's cheaper to do things abroad. If you bring if you attempt to bring this manufacturing back, you're going to drive up prices because wages are higher in the United States. Standards maybe are higher, and that may sound good on the surface, but it's going to take years to build up manufacturing. And where are you going to find the workers? Because Donald Trump's other side project, if you want to call it, is about pushing people out of the country. He wants to reduce immigration. He's had a chilling effect on many different sectors. There are stories in the United States at the moment where South American workers, Mexican workers are not turning up to their workplace out of fear that they're going to be deported. Even people who are, quote unquote, in the country legally. So on the one hand, Donald Trump wants to kick a load of people out, deport huge amounts of workers. And on the other hand, he says he wants to bring back manufacturing, or the idea is that he wants to bring back manufacturing. Well, who's going to do that work? Because Americans don't want to do those jobs, because they're not well paid. And once again, if you increase the wages, then you're going to have to increase the cost to the consumer. And this is going to damage people who are already on the breadline. None of this makes sense. There's also the other aspect of this. You trade with your neighbors in many ways because you don't have the goods available. We're hearing it from Brexiteers in Britain as well. We should close the border and we should just produce our own food. 40% of food during the winter is imported from the European Union because Britain can't grow enough food to satisfy the population. That's why you trade with your neighbours. You trade something that you have with them, and they trade something that they have with you. I don't know where the end goal is here for Donald Trump. Is it about turning Canada into the 51st state? Is it just about punishing Canada? Is it about scapegoating? It could be all of them. And we'll have to find out eventually. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.